ale jestem dzisiaj podekscytowany. To jest niesamowite
Hi,
spotkanie.
I'm so excited today for this an amazing meeting. I have been waiting for this meeting for almost 3 years. Almost 3 years due to the restrictions that initially prevented us from inviting this wonderful girl to Poland. Now that everything has come together, we can finally talk and, by the way, invite you to meet her in January in Warsaw. I would like you to introduce you a girl who has been living this way for over 50 years. The way we would like you to know her is to see how it has impacted her life, whether it has made her feel younger, whether she gets sick, or if her natural raw vegan diet, consisting of plants, vegetables, fruits, seeds, sprouts, nuts, and everything that can be eaten without cooking, has made any difference. Today, I hope we can get to know each other. I will be speaking with Karyn Calabrese. And I hope we inspire you to attend this meeting in January. I'm so excited, and I'm looking forward to this like a salvation. And I hope you will welcome her with hearts and thumbs up. Karyn Calabrese, everyone.
Karyn Calabrese, kochani.
Dzień dobry. How's that?
That's perfect. I didn't, you surprised me. You didn't say that you're going to say anything in Polish.
That's it. Tak. That's it.
Dzień dobry and tak. This is two Polish words. Yes, that's perfect. Karyn, welcome to my channel, to our community. I hope some people will know you, but mostly they are new to raw vegan diet, to veganism. We started about 7 years ago in Poland, this community, and the community grew to almost 1 million people throughout social media. People got excited. They start healing their bodies. We call it stay young forever. And people wants to stay young forever. And I hope when they're gonna come and see you in January, they're gonna say, yes, this is it. I want to be like Karyn. That's why I invited you. I'm so excited to have you here, Karyn.
Well, one of the things that I continually say whenever I speak is this is a concept that's been around. I learned from Dr. Ann Wigmore for quite a long time. But I like to tell people I'm living proof that it works. It isn't just a concept that you're reading about or hearing about or seeing on TikTok or Instagram. I've actually lived it for 40, 50 years, and I can say unequivocally, it works.
Yeah,
It works.
It does. The moment I saw you today on the screen, it was like, what? This is impossible. This is impossible. Usually in Poland, I'm not sure if the same is in England, but in Poland, we usually don't ask the age of the woman because it's not polite. But in that circumstances, I think it's good to know, how old are you? Because some people might think that you may be 50, 60.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My daughter is 53. Okay. And I love to shout my age because the reality is we're not supposed to be aging at the rate we are. The body is a self-regenerating organism. So the very fact that people are aging and growing sick and tired and dying has one cause: what you're putting into your mouth. Of course, they're predisposed weaknesses you're born with, but everything you eat is what you become. It's that simple. It isn't this big scientific experiment. It isn't all of this knowledge. You got to read books and books. You eat what you become what you eat. It's that simple. And dead, dying food, from the animals to even too much cooked food, that's how you look and feel. Living alive food for these alive cells, you come alive, and that's how you feel. Period. That's it. We can close the interview. No,
Okay, we can close the interview. You've said it everything, and it looks so amazing and so simple that I even can't believe it that people can't grasp this in within 5 minutes because it's so simple. It's so simple. Live foods. If you eat live food, you alive. If you eat dead food, you become dead. It's simple like that.
And I want to add, especially in this day and age, I do have on makeup, right? but I've done no surgery. I've done no fillers. I've done none of the things that I don't judge anybody for choosing, because we want to live our best life every day and do what we know to feel better. But what I hope to be an example of is to show people there is another way, and I call it God's way. You know, there's so many things out on the market, from Ozempic to lose weight, to do this, for chemicals for head. But really, God put a perfect plan out there for us. And if God isn't your higher power, spirit, whatever it is you believe in, there is a vibration out there for all of us as human beings. And if you tap into that vibration, there's nothing special about me. Because I can't add or subtract, and as you can see, I'm not good with this cyber stuff, but I tune into the vibration of how God intended me to live. And has it been this way all along? Has it been an easy road? Absolutely not, because we're in the process of life, okay? And the process of life is to learn. So I like to say, when I speak to your guests, when I come to visit you guys, I don't think there's a right or a wrong, or a good or a bad, or a yes or a no. It's just the process. And what process do you choose to put yourself in to continue to cross the bridges to get closer to what God created for us?
That's amazing. Let me ask you a few questions which I prepared myself, because I believe we would like to know what was the reason basically for you to become who you are and changing your diet, because I assume that you grow up in the standard American diet, or some kind of diet which is kind of treated as normal. So what motivates you to adopt a raw vegan lifestyle, I believe over 5 decades ago? And how has your perspective on health and nutrition evolved since then?
Well, I love this question. And I love it because everybody is trying and working so hard to do something, to get something. And I believe we all intuitively know what's right. We're born with it. Every cell in our body knows what to do. It comes coded. We've just been taught to ignore it, to cover it up, to not pay attention to it, and to listen to everything externally around us. So we don't tap into that gut work that we have, that we're born with. So there were no books written. There was nothing telling me, Karyn, you need to be a vegan. You need to be a vegetarian. This is the way to go. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have Google. I didn't have all of these things. I had a desire to do better than the people in my family. So my mother died at 47. My grandmother died at 50, and my great grandmother died at 60. So I'm looking, things aren't looking so great here, right? And I took care of everybody up until they passed away, until they transitioned. I'll put it that way, until they transitioned. And I was a very sickly child, very sickly teenager. I had terrible skin. I had horrible menstrual cramps when I became a teenager. I was constipated all the time. And I had all of these challenges, which I have since learned every challenge your body is giving you is just wake up, do something different, not take a pill and hide it, right? But so what happened was, my mother, before she got so sick, had discovered carrot juice to help you go to the bathroom, she told me. So I said, oh, okay, I'll give it a try, because I was constipated all the time. And so I tried the carrot juice, and being slightly obsessive compulsive, a little bit was making me go. So I started drinking gallons of it, right? And I was drinking all this carrot juice, and I was pooping and going to the bathroom wonderfully. And of course, my skin started to clear up. I started to have more energy, and things just got better and better. So I'm going, wow. But what I didn't realize, that I since know, is putting all this living food in my body, you see, I was kind of changing over what was going in there biochemically, but I didn't realize it. So I never consciously chose to do and live the way I am. It was an evolution of making changes toward what was intended for me. So, and this is when I work with people one-on-one, I kind of take them this way. I don't have this, you got to be raw food, you got to be vegan, you got to do this. I don't believe in that, to be honest with you, because if you could do that, you could tell everybody, stop doing drugs, stop doing this, just do that. Just,
Yeah, it doesn't
and
work.
you can't. And you can't
Yeah.
make people feel uncomfortable about who they are. So when I work with people, I kind of take them through an evolution of crossing bridges too, depending on how they want to do it. So I started drinking all this carrot juice, and then I started reading other things. Different things came into my reading material, and I started adding other stuff to the vegetable juice. But what happened was, I developed a natural revulsion to eating meat. I didn't one day decide I'm going to give up meat. I was making chicken soup, because I've always loved to cook and been a good cook. I put the chicken in the pot and forgot about it, went to put the vegetables in, and the skin was floating over here and the bones were over here. And I went, what am I doing? It just, I got this epiphany. So then I gave up animal products, right? I was still doing dairy though. So, that's why I say 40, 50 years, because it's been an evolution to get here. And I just developed this, oh my God, what are you doing? Kind of attitude. And then I couldn't eat animals any longer. Well, somewhere along the line, then I was still eating dairy and I was still getting things happening, but not at the rate they were. And then I met Dr. Ann Wigmore, and I'd been fooling around with veganism and then she just took me over to the next level. Because, like I said, I truly believe once you step on that train of wisdom, of learning, I don't want to act like I'm smarter than anybody else, but on the God train, it all just comes to you. You just have to be awake enough to pay attention. And you
Oh,
have to, and it's not easy to do that because everything around you is telling you to go in the opposite direction, from your family, from your friends, from ads to everything out there is telling you it's easier to go in the other direction. But somehow I just kept getting better and better, and then listening to her and then following her detoxification program, which I am a strong believer in. We'll talk about more later. And I just evolved here. But not only have I not been sick in 40, 50 years, I don't get ill, I don't get colds, I don't get sore throats, that whole virus thing that came up, I don't get, and it's no virus, I don't get anything, right? And I don't worry about getting anything. And so, but not to say I haven't had challenges along the way. I have,
sure.
yeah. But I just, then all of a sudden I realized that I wasn't aging at the rate everybody else is, I thought, okay, there's your real answer. So I do it for health, but I do it for vanity too, because everything on the outside here is showing you what's going on the inside. Okay. And you can be a raw foodist, you can be plant-based, you can be vegan and still have stuff going on if you haven't had the opportunity to clean out all the old stuff that you did before you came into this world. And there's something going on right now. I'm going to make a YouTube. There's a wonderful lady in the United States, Chef AJ, and she was just diagnosed with lung cancer, and it's all over the internet, and people are going, well, she was plant-based, what happened? But the reality is there is no one system in the body, so you have to bring other things in too. The raw foods is one thing, but my whole day is full of regeneration in some way or form, even if it's just going out to my backyard barefoot. There's many aspects to keeping you young, healthy, and vital.
That's brilliant. And the speed you talk, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to translate you so fast, so
I'm
full of
sorry.
words.
I got to
No,
slow
that's,
down. I told you that I have a
yeah.
tendency to get passionate, and
Oh my God. I have so much passion in me, but you much more than me. And
I'm
believe it or
older.
not, yeah, believe it or not, the project we have, it's divided into 5 pillars. First is nutrition, what you're putting into your mouth. Second is cleansing of your body. And you said about this is so important. Then third one, it's about your body healing itself when you provide the nutrition and you clean your body. Then we have the pillar which is called the physical fitness, and then mind fitness. So how your mind operates. And you cover up everything in one question. So I'm so so I'm so glad that you kind of, you're sharing the message the same, almost the same way we are.
Because we
So
got it from the same place.
I know.
We
So
downloaded it from the same place. That's why it's the same message.
I
We
know.
all get the message. Are you awake to hear it?
You shared already about the carrot juice, and if there is a saying, even I think that was a juice dad, which says that if everyone drinks 1 glass of carrot juice a day, we will not have the diseases we have right now. But can you share some more of your favorite recipes or meals that
Yes.
have become staples in your diet, and what benefits you, the most from these foods, these specific foods?
Well, I want to qualify right now. I rarely recommend straight carrot juice to anybody to drink. And if you were in the jungle and you've been eating that way for a lifetime, yes. But combined with all the stuff that people are living with and doing on a consistent basis, I think straight carrot juice is way too much sugar for most people.
Mhm.
because of all the different ways they're taking it in.
We don't
And
drink straight. We don't drink only carrot. We
right.
we mix with other elements.
And because the fruits and vegetables aren't the way God intended them to make. Of course, in your country, they're better than mine, 10,000%, but they're still not what God created. The sugars have been a little, altered and whatever. So, like you say, I never think straight carrot juice. You always mix it with something else. But I agree, drinking some form of juice every day is going to put you in a different space because your body is getting nutrients immediately without having to break it down. It's just living food going right to those cells, helping them to regenerate immediately, you know? So, what are the other things I do? Well, for breakfast every morning, I pray and meditate. So
Mm.
I'm up at 5:30, 5:36 every morning, and I pray and I meditate. That's my breakfast. I break the fast with prayer and meditation
Wow.
because I don't believe the body is in a position to accept food until maybe about 11 or 12 o'clock. So I'm basically drinking water. And if I'm working with someone, I'm having them put baking soda in the water because most people are way too acidic from the moment they get up till they go to bed, and that acidity calls you to do other foods and other things. So like my husband, he doesn't live in my world, 100%. So I give him baking soda and water every morning. If I'm going through a lot of stress, I may add that to mine because stress eats up B vitamins and things in the body also. So I have water, and I have structured water. I'm real big on structured water. I don't care what type of water you're using, except distill for detoxing. I have structured water, and I have a water structure in my shower. And the structured water is not only structured with this machine, but it's structured from words. So it sits on love and gratitude throughout the day. So, water, everything takes on the form of what you put into it. So I'm drinking love and gratitude water. I do gratitude before I get out of bed. I think of all the things I'm grateful for because I know the world is going to send me a bunch of stuff not to feel grateful for. So I better arm myself first. I'm grateful for my trees, my backyard, my husband, my dog, my cat, my friends, my family, all the people, you. I'm grateful. Okay. So
Thank
I
you.
start with gratitude, and then I do prayer. I do a fire ceremony called Agnihotra. It's one of the oldest known ceremonies known to in the Vedic sciences, and it's taking the blanket of it's with sunrise. You move the blanket from heaven and earth, and you bring all this positive energy. So I do that, and I have a bunch of books I read from, and I have divining rods. I do all. My husband calls me a woo woo. I don't do all my woo woo stuff, but it makes me feel calm and comfortable. And after my water, I generally, what will I have after water? I make a concoction of different things for him, and I may do a little bit with some cayenne pepper and lemon or ginger and stuff like that. I drink once a month. I do a liver cleanse with olive oil and stuff like that. So I have certain things set up on a consistent basis, just like people have certain things set up to do negatively. That's the most important thing, is not to do something once, set up your life so that you're doing it regularly, like your negative habits. So my whole house is set up for me. All right. It's not set up to have guests necessarily. You may go in the bathroom and see my animal bucket. No, I'm just joking. But my house is set up for me. Okay. And then if people are coming over, I'll put stuff away. Oh, I'm supposed to be slowing down my talk too. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's fine. It's fine. I was joking, but you have so much energy, and also, you mentioned some very very important stuff here. But can you share maybe one recipe which you like the most? Like, do you make salads for
Yes.
yourself, or you
Yes,
rather
yes.
eat
I
something
make
more?
salads daily. No, no. I always have, I call it like the old days, like they used to have, where vegetable soup came in. So whatever vegetable they had the day, and then throughout the week, they would throw in different vegetables. They would keep adding to that soup. And that's how vegetable soup came about, because they were always adding the day before stuff to the pot. So I kind of do that with salads. And I will start out with, I get lazy sometimes and I buy those chopped salads already,
Sure.
in the chop bags. I'm not a chef. I just love to make food, right? So I'll buy the different chopped salads and cut them up a little more. And I will add dulse and sometimes spirulina to it. And I add maybe onion. Sometimes I'm trying to think of, oh, I'll add mulberries because I like a little sweetness added to it. and I'll add mushrooms that I've marinated. And so I have this little thing. But as the days go on and I'm making other foods, I'll throw them into the salad.
Ah, okay.
I have a YouTube up, I think, where I made one of them, and I just keep throwing in, and it just keeps growing and growing. And and sometimes, and then I'll wrap them in the butter, that squash lettuce. I'll put it in the butter lettuce, and make like a little roll out of it. So I kind of have some of that every day. I make but here's the deal. I don't eat a lot.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot, period. If I'm eating a lot, it's for greed and I'm eating something delicious, but I don't have a huge appetite. I will do a protein drink, just because I'll make a protein drink, and it's usually made with coconut water and coconut water. I'll put Brazil nuts in it and walnuts and pumpkin seeds and maybe some chia seeds or flax seed in it, and maybe some kind of green kamut or spirulina or something. So I have one of those daily too. I'll have a protein shake of some time with type with greens in it. And then I remind people in my lectures, hold up your fist, and I'm tiny. This is the same size I was at 16, 18. I haven't gotten bigger. I was skinny then, I'm skinny now. This is the size of my stomach. It's a tiny little sack in there. That's so. And I think the less you eat, if it's energy efficient food, the more energy you're going to have, because your body doesn't have to spend all that time digesting and breaking food down. You just get the energy from your food and you move forward. So I really don't eat a lot. Sometimes, I'll have something with my husband in the evening to be nice. And, if I have a cheat food, which I may do a couple of times a year, it's potatoes, and it'll be a red potato. I love potatoes. But I don't eat a lot of food. I really don't. And I have more energy than most people I know in their 10, 20, 30, 40 years old. I have so much energy. I really
And you
do.
almost reaching 80, and this is amazing,
Yes.
because people feel that they have to, because they have mouth, they have to fill the mouth in full, and because they have a stomach, they have to eat so much, but because they're eating that food, they're not getting the nutritions, and that's why they're hungry all the time. And also, as you mentioned about your stomach, it's small. When you putting too much stuff into it, it's just getting used to too much food, and it's asking more and more, because it's like a sack. I'm not full yet, give me more, give me more. But one thing you also mentioned, it's not a diet. And I always explain to people, it's not a diet we're doing here, it's a lifestyle. As you
Mhm.
said, you have all your different things which you're doing during the day, because this is lifestyle. This is not about the diet. People,
Right.
what kind of diet you have? It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. I do this in the morning, I do this by the afternoon, I do this in the evening, and it's all like
And
a
they can be
package.
switched around too. There's no one thing
Yeah,
for the morning and one for that. It depends on what my
yeah,
cells are calling for. My cells say, well, I want some raw cheese this morning, and raw crackers,
yeah,
or before I have the protein shake. So I really listen to my body. But I also think, in addition to that, it's the way the world has been set up. The world is it's such
yeah,
a commercial world, and it's all about feeding and what you put in. And it's kind of like the dulling of humanity,
yeah,
and everything. I don't know about your country because I've never been to Poland, but in the United States, every commercial, everywhere you turn, it's all about food, food, food. It's always coming at you. And then you had your grandmother and your mother saying, you got to get enough food for nutrients, because they were trained that way.
yeah,
And it's just a concept that's been here for so long that I don't think people are stupid or dumb. I think it's just there. It's pervasive. So
exactly.
breaking into that thought process, and you don't, and it's amazing. I help people through fasting. When you go on a fast, at some point you don't even think about food. Sometimes I have to
Exactly.
force myself to start eating again, because I'm living feeling so high and so great without it.
I
you
know
know
what you're talking about. When I go through fasting, because we're doing at least once a year, I almost forget that we need to eat. Every
Mhm.
time I go far with the fasting, I think, why we even eat food?
Right.
It's what is the reason? But at the beginning, it was hard when I was doing my first fastings several years ago, because we on a raw food lifestyle, maybe 6, 7 years. But before, I was vegan for about 5 years. But I started fasting about 15 years ago. And it was quite hard for me, even going through one day with no food.
Well, let me add to that also. My thinking, I went to India in 92 and spent about a month over there. It was incredible. And I met a sadhu, I met a holy man that lived in a cave who hadn't eaten in 10 years, right?
Right.
And there are people, they're called breatharians. So in my line of thinking, what I've learned is as humans, we started out as breatharians, the Garden of Eden or whatever you believe in, right? And you took the first bite. So we started out as breatharians because we are like the trees and whatever in the forest. We don't have to be fed. The
Yeah.
sun feeds us, the earth feeds us, the, air. So except in our country, we've screwed all that up. But we started out as breatharians, and then we became fruitarians, and then we became vegans, and then we became vegetarians, and then we became carnivores. So the reality is there are people who are breatharians, and I met one. I met a holy man who hadn't eaten in 10 years. He had a little belly on him because he was in this cave doing breath work. So the funny story behind that was I was there on a spiritual pilgrimage, and a couple of us decided to branch off and walk through the mountains to find some other people. And we found this sadhu, we had heard about him. So his disciples invited us in to eat with them. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get to eat with a holy, and the sadhu, I'll get to meet him and go in the cave. So I went into the cave with him and came out, and I actually felt like I'd been drinking. I was so, it was so incredible, the feeling that I had of love and grace and everything that came over my body being in this person's presence. And then the holy men decided to feed us. So I thought, oh, I'm going to get to eat holy food, right? Well, they gave us 5 nuts, right? And I'm like, this was food. And they gave us 5 nuts. And I'm like, because I do have one of the things I have to learn to do is slow down everything eating. Because when I eat, I want to just get it done. And I'm going to pretend this is one of the nuts. And they picked up the nuts and they were eating them like this, like, they were taking bites off this little bitty nut. And I'm sitting there like I want to shove the 5 nuts. Yeah. So I ate the nuts like that, but that was the reality. That's how some people eat that are living in a spiritual world,
Oh
not
my
trying to stuff themselves. Because I also believe that all the foods that we stuff ourselves with, it kind of builds a barrier around us so we don't receive the downloads that are out there for us on a consistent basis, because we're always given stuff.
Yeah.
How awake or aware of you to receive it?
Yeah. That's amazing. And the story is amazing. And I can't wait to hug you in Poland.
Oh,
And I hope
yes.
that everyone here who is watching us right now wants to meet you and hear your story and hear your knowledge and your wisdom about good nutrition and how to not to overfeed yourself with bad food. But I have another question.
Mhm.
What are some common misconceptions about raw vegan diet that you encounter, and how do you address them?
Well, people are concerned with the B12,
Yes.
and especially when I'm working with people, I love fermented foods and I love seaweed. So I feel I'm getting mine. Although sometimes, like if I'm traveling, I will take extra B12. So people worry about the B12. People worry about the protein levels in a plant-based diet, all. But if you're doing greens, like I do moringa leaf and I do wheatgrass and I do spirulina, you're getting your protein and your calcium there. So I think the biggest concern is that you will be hungry. And maybe
Yeah.
initially you are, because your brain is processing things differently, which is why a good detox cleanse is important, because it helps your brain to kind of turn around and process things differently. Um, and I think people are concerned with socialization, being out in social situations, you know. And I think in the beginning, I might have had a problem with that because nobody invited me to dinner in my family. But when you start out, you tend to proselytize about everything. You're kind of judgmental and you're telling everybody what they should do and how they should eat. So nobody wants to be around you anyway.
Yeah.
And then, so one of the things I do is, especially if I'm going out with friends or people, although most people know how I eat now, they say, take the plants off the table, Karen may eat them. But I eat before I go out. I
Sure.
give myself what I know my body is going to need. So that way there's no tempting, not that I get tempted any longer, but in the beginning you will be, because everybody's looking for salt, sugar, and fat. That's part of the human condition. So I eat before I go out. Um, people worry about not having any food when you go places, but everybody's got raw food. You don't think about it. I go to a fish house with my husband sometimes, and they have corn on the cob, and I say, could I have some of the corn before you cook it? And you just put olive oil on it, and I carry my little Celtic or Himalayan salt with me. I think the biggest concern is people are used to convenience, and they're afraid it will be inconvenient.
Yeah.
And one of the chapters in my new book is we are dying for convenience, literally.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. That's brilliant. So after so many years of following this lifestyle, as we said, it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle. You have all the different habits during the day. But what are the most surprising health benefits you have experienced? And how do you maintain your fitness and vitality as you age? Do you do anything else? Do you train a lot? Do you train little? And what kind of experience you've said already that you're not getting sick, but what else? People.
Well,
I know many people. I knew many people who are not alive anymore at your age. So
so do I, most of my friends.
I know your family.
But it's not just that. I mean, I'm always, and please, I got to do everything I can to not put ego in this, but I'm
Sure.
always surprised when I'm around people my age, and I feel like, wow, they're old. And then I go, oh no, I'm the same age because it isn't just the way I look, it's just how I feel. You know,
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm excited. I'm excited about life. I'm excited to get up in the morning. I'm excited about what I'm going to do next. I'm excited to come to Poland. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited, because of the way the world is in such a state. But I'm excited. And it's not that I'm afraid to transition, because that's a part of life. It's as big a part of life as anything else. And I'm doing all kinds of things to prepare for that too, because it's part of life. And I'm trying to prepare my daughter and the people around me. So it's not like, she's dead. No, she transitioned and she's happier than she was before, because so I'm just happy, and when I'm around people my age, it seems like they're just, one of the things I say, I put these sayings out all the time on my Instagram. And one of the things that's one of the more important is, when you stop learning is when you start to die. And
Yeah.
so I try to learn something new about the internet every day, or my phone or something. I try to learn. It's staying engaged with life. And I feel that's a difference I feel than a lot of my peers that I get to be around. They're kind of accepting of, watching the news, watching judge shows, even just reading a book. I love to read, but I don't know. I'm always looking to do something that I never did before, or learn something. And I think that's part of the joy of maintaining. It's staying relevant with life. It's not all of a sudden letting life close in on you and then it's just time to go. It's staying relevant. And when it's time to go, okay, hey, bye. I was happy. Bye. I want him to play Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, at my funeral. It's like staying relevant. That's what it's done for me, staying relevant. And
That's
look,
perfect.
you want me to come to Poland, right?
Yeah,
And
of
there's
course. Yes.
a bazillion raw foodists out there you could be bringing in, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
staying relevant.
Yeah, because you're surprisingly active and always visible. And I believe that you have a message to share. That's why it's so important to see you and talk to you. You convinced me. If I was not a raw foodist and I wasn't following this lifestyle for a long time, you convinced me, and this is one of the biggest thing which you carrying on with you, because you look like you have energy, you happy, something going on always in your social media, even if you don't know how to do it, there is something always there. And you're not finding this with almost 80 years old people. And so come on, Karyn, give yourself a lot of credits for that.
Wait, I have to tell you one more funny story. I told you my daughter is 53, and I'll ask her things from time. And I'm doing something on the computer, and I ask her, and she says, "Oh, Mom, that's so easy." I said, "Nikki, will you please put in your brain? I'm almost 80 years old, and I'm making TikTok videos. How many 80-year-olds do you know making TikTok videos?"
Exactly.
She said, "Oh, you're right."
Exactly. I'm
So
so
I
I'm
forget
so
to pop
glad.
Right. I forget to put the sound on or whatever I do. I said, but I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I'm so glad we finally met. I'm so
Me
glad we're
too.
finally making this trip for you to Poland.
It's been what, 5, 6 years we've been trying to do this COVID. So many things have
Yes, it was
happened, right?
so many things happening. It was happening. So I was always kind of like remembering about you, but it was no the right time, as you said. The
Exactly.
regulations for 2 3 years we couldn't do really conferences. We started back in 2023 again, and we're going forward. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy, Karyn. And I hope that everyone who's watching this video, wants to meet Karyn. You have to meet her. You have to see her. You have to feel the energy, because I feel the energy. My body is vibrating when you're talking.
Thank you.
And I want to feel you in the room. I want to see you. I want you to feel also how passionate Polish people can be about something which is good for themselves and for the world.
Well, I'm going to add, here in the Chicago area, we have a very, very large Polish, I think the largest in America in the Chicago area. I used to live next door to the Polish embassy when I lived in the city. And I have many, many Polish. So I'm going to put this out. Maybe they'll want to follow me and go back home to visit relatives when I do this. My dentist is from there. And I've actually spoken on Polish radio. They had me, and they had a translator there and everything. And so I'm pretty well recepted in the Chicago area with Polish community also, which makes this even that much more exciting to actually come to Poland. I've traveled all over the world. I've never been to Poland.
Yay! Finally
Never.
here.
This is a first. Someone was well, we'll talk about when we're off the show, but someone was telling me about some trees, a forest there. I don't know that these trees are so old and so beautiful. I have to contact that person that they said when they were in
Yeah,
Poland.
we have quite a few parks, the national parks, which are really well reserved, and some animals which from hundreds of years ago, they living there, and Polish people looking after the environment very well.
Yes.
So I think this is very good also for the environment and for everyone here on this beautiful earth which we're living. But
well, you guys are ahead of the game than we are in the United States. We've done so much to ruin.
I'm sorry, Karyn, to say that, but I agree with you. I think
no, it's 100% true.
The last 30 years, when Poland opened for America for all this fast food and all the stuff in the supermarkets and so on, we become so sick. Like suddenly, we have so many cancers, we have so many heart attacks, people dying like on a daily basis from something which never happened before. And now we have to reverse that and say, look, America is good, but they don't have good way of eating food. So we don't have to follow everything from the Western world. Some of the things are good, but with the food, you actually really bad in America with that.
It's terrible, really. It's so. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a garden where I grow stuff now. I'm putting a greenhouse up. I have 4 refrigerators in my house. Because I'm always drying and storing, and my husband eats cooked food too, but I'm always storing stuff because the food is just so negative here. You have to be so conscious and aware. Even my organic vegetables, I soak in baking soda water before I juice them or use them. I just don't trust the food in my own country. It's so you guys are ahead of the game there.
That's perfect. I'm gonna take the video very quickly from our interview here, and I'm gonna put it on the actual social media as well.
Can I say my last thing that I say real quick that I always say before you take me off? I just like to remind people that if you don't take care of your body, the most magnificent machine you'll ever be given, where are you gonna live?
Wow, that's brilliant. Okay, Karyn, I'm not gonna take you off completely, but I will have to finish this interview because I'm gonna have like tons of translation to do.
No, I'm sorry.
So I have to finish and cut this here. I hope we kind of like introduce you to the community properly and very well, guys. Give us the thumbs up and send us hearts and give us a comments. What do you feel and about meeting Karyn? It's going to be 11th and 12th of January 2025. starting your new year with new resolutions, with new adaptation to the world. And maybe Karyn, like me, gonna kind of like I forgot the words.
Be a part of your journey.
Be a part of your journey, but also gonna inspire you, because it's about the inspiration. I want to inspire as many people as possible. And because I'm 50, it's not that easy, because I lost my hair. I still have a hair, but I'm shaving my head. But because I was doing all the bad stuff, and I'm gonna share the story with you when I see you. But the lifestyle I've chosen actually let me have my body heal, and I'm also not sick for the last 6 years, so which is very, very good, and I'm so happy. So thank you, Karyn, for being here, and thank you for coming to our show, and I can't wait to see you.
Same here. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.